Welcome back to another video. In this video, I wanted to talk about a special topic about something that is closely related to our personality. There is something about this personality that we have to understand that there are aspects of our personality, that there are different sides to our personality, and there are certain aspects of our personality that come out when we are in a certain situation, when we are in a certain environment, when we are talking to someone. Now, this aspect of personality is hidden unless and until we find it, until we rediscover it, or we explore it. Now, now it is a mostly highly accepted fact that a child is healthy if he is more sociable. Not just a child, any person, any human being is more healthy if he is more sociable. Now, what happens here when we socialize or when we interact with our fellow human beings is that we discover some things of ourselves. We are not just interacting with other strange people, we're also interacting with strange parts of our own self. Now, hence it is very important to interact with different kinds of people because we see that in these interactions there are aspects of our personality that bubble up from the depths of our mind, from the depths of our collective unconscious. Now, a lot of our actions and a lot of our words are basically some things that are used by the subconscious, some things which we have conditioned ourselves to be like. For example, if you are interacting with your father, you are interacting out of your subconscious mind, which stores a lot of information about the circumstances that have occurred between you and your father, and the circumstances, the emotions, the experience that you have had with your father. And hence, the personality is developed, and whenever you interact with your family, with your father, you utilize your subconscious mind to project this personality. But when you interact with your mother, your interactions are different. A different personality is adopted based on the circumstances, the experiences that you have had with your mother. And this is not just a mere outward relationships. There are certain relationships that you have with yourself. When you were a child, and we have all been children at one time. We have all been special at one time. We were innocent. We were creative. We like to have fun. We like to have. We like to paint. We like to dance. And we like to have fun. And we like to explore. We were curious, questioning things. But eventually, we kind of grow up, and if we have been in certain education system, then get conditioned somehow by the society, by our parents, who themselves have not understood the inner child, and they have not understood you when you were a child. And you grew up like this. You grew up and you were conditioned. They conditioned all of us in the name of learning. And it's important to understand the difference between conditioning and learning. Learning comes out of pure curiosity. When you are curious about a subject and you want to learn, that is when true learning happens. But if you aren't curious about anything and you are supposed to do certain things, then there are people who are conditioning you. There are parents who are making you be like something, or looking at you like a mechanical mind. They are looking at you like a mind that can be conditioned and eventually be taken advantage of due to the conditioning. This whole system that happens when a parent takes them into an education institute is false. It is very wrong in its correct sense. It is wrong because it does not come from a place of good intentions. It comes from a place of conditioning the child. But the child doesn't know this. The child then forms relationships with others and sees that he must conform to the society, that he should behave in a certain way, that there is something wrong with him, that there is something wrong with his curiosity, and if he cannot be conditioned, then there is something wrong with his mind. If he cannot concentrate on something, then it is said that there is something wrong with his mind, that he is not intelligent enough or he is not capable enough. And this happens to majority of people, majority of children. They are forced to do one certain thing in their life. But the thing is, the child may not be conditioned. The child who goes through such a conditioning will eventually will go against his parents. He will develop resentment against society. He will become antisocial. He'll start hating the people around him. He'll start hating the society. He'll start hating his own parents. Because all that they did is tell the child that there is something wrong with them. That he shouldn't indulge in his curiosities. That he shouldn't question the authority. And eventually those who succumb to the societal pressures do the same thing to their own children. Those who fall for it, those who stagnate themselves and lose their curiosity for condition, lose their curiosity for normalness, lose their individuality for an identity that was imposed on them. They try to conform to an identity and they build relationships out of these identities. Now I've talked a lot about individuality, purpose, and identity in my other previous video called Identity Inference. Now it can lead you to acquire false statements as truths. So it is important to go through that video And to understand what individuality and identity is, to understand the difference between conditioning and learning, to understand what is curiosity and questioning, to understand why specialization is not something, not a skill that can lead you towards a richer life, that can improve your way of life. Specialization stagnate you. The mind who is curious is always integrating stuff. The mind is which is it gives priority to awareness, it gives priority to creativity. You'll be able to integrate different kinds of knowledge. Now, if you look at our predicament in our academics, we see that in physics we are doing research and we are trying to get to the unified theory by merely concentrating on our physical laws and trying to understand and go deeper and deeper, trying to specialize in physics. Now, the goal of physics is to get to a unified theory, to find out a theory, to discover a theory that can explain everything in this universe. But I want to point out to the misconception of the most of the physicists that the point to be understood when we are trying to discover something like a unified theory is to understand that specialization is not the way, that integration is the way, that finally you will have to eventually integrate all of the sciences, integrate all the knowledge of sciences. And when we condition children to become specialized in something, we eradicate an inherent attribute that is closely related to the personality of the inner child. Now Carl Jung talks about this a lot and about this archetype of the inner child. And if you have been into spiritual psychology, then you must have come upon this term inner child, and you must have gone through something called inner child healing. But for those who haven't, I highly recommend you go and check that out. And there are probably a few resources on YouTube that you can find, and there are a few books. You can go to the source, that is Carl Jung himself, and try to understand what the inner child is. At the end of the day, it comes into looking at your inner child and looking at the attributes of the inner child. The main attributes are creativity, curiosity, and questioning. These three attributes can help us understand and get to the unified theory. And the academics and the systems of academics that we follow here in India and even in foreign countries like Europe or different other universities prioritize specialization over integration. And I don't think that is going to work to get to a unified theory. So coming back to the topic of the inner child and coming back to what I mean by child healing and understanding the inner child that we all were at some point. Now when we are conditioned to do something, then we are doing something without our hearts in. We are forcing ourselves to do something. We are forcing ourselves to concentrate upon a certain thing that we may not even like. Now, when we do that, we move towards artificialness. We move away from our originality. We move away from individuality and move towards a created personality, a created identity. And all identities are false. They are pretense. And we create these identities and we are astray from our individuality. So, so since all conditioning is stagnating ourselves, it is important to again understand that child a child is one who is curious about himself. An individual, when he realizes his inner child, he finds out his true purpose. When you reconnect with the child inside you, you will understand that you have a unique purpose in this world, and every single person has. They have repressed it, or they don't have the tools to put energy and to put awareness into this purpose. They have given up. They have given up for small rewards, for a job, for a salary, for maybe temporary happiness, for comfort. They have given up their purpose. The purpose that is so divinely connected to this universe, that is divinely unique to you and you alone. And the inward journey is all about reconnecting with your personalities, reconnecting with all of the things that you went through, all of the personalities that you went through, reconnecting with the child, reconnecting with the personality that you had created when you were in college, when you were being educated, the personality that you had when you were doing a job, the young person, the bright-eyed person, the personality who was emotionally distraught, the personality which felt as if the world is meaningless. When you reconnect with all of these personalities, when you understand them, and you embrace them, that is when you will actually understand what your purpose in this life is. There is a certain thing that you have been repressing, a certain talent of yours that is unique to you. You have been repressing it all along. We all have been to a certain extent. And health, pure health, person becomes healthy when he reconnects with all of his personalities, when he embraces all of his personalities and tries to understand what is actually wrong with him. Is there something wrong with him? Or is it only the society that tells that there is something wrong with him? So thank you for watching this video. Remember, connect with the most special child that you once were. We were all children. We were all small children. And we've forgotten that we too are capable of becoming children again. So thank you for watching this video.